Alright, well, when I first went out to Colorado, there was, in the fall, they have it's in this little town called Gunnison, and it's about an hour and a half to get to any other town that's bigger than Gunnison, but 45 minutes north is Crested Butte, and the only way to get there is through Gunnison. It's because everywhere else is surrounded by mountains, and you go up to Crested Butte, and in the fall they have this festival called the Vinnetoc Festival, and the Vinnetoc Festival was this big. It's a pagan festival where everyone in the town, they build this giant thing called the Grump, and the Grump is everyone in the town fills out this piece of paper and says what their woes are, whatever has been bothering them, and they put it all into the Grump, and this thing is gigantic too. I mean, it's probably the size of a car, and the festival is actually, they take the Grump and we put them on trial, and everyone is dressed. I mean, there's Mother Earth, and there's a whole bunch of people dressed up as, they have like leaves in their hair, and they're all dressed up naturey like Mother Earth, and there's people dressed up like all sorts of ways, kind of, pretty much. It's a pretty crazy festival, and a large number of the people are on acid at the time too, and so it makes it even crazier. And the whole town, then we put him on trial, and we determine whether or not he is guilty of all the town's woes. And of course, every single year, he's obviously guilty. And so we parade him down. At this point, it's getting dark, and we got big torches and stuff. It's like, if you didn't know what was going on, it would look like something crazy going on. But we grab torches, and we walk them down, carrying them all the way down the street to this giant bonfire that we have set up. And the bonfire is just a giant, like I guess, teepee, like a wooden teepee, and we put the Grump right in the middle of it, and and then we take the torches and we light them on fire. And at this point, it's dark, and everyone, if they, including me, like before, they had taken acid on the way and during the beginning. So as it starts kicking in, everyone, the fire starts. I hadn't taken 5 hits of acid actually, and there was this fire dancer too by the fire, and he's just whipping around these things, and the fire just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and this fire is about 15, 20 feet across. I mean, it is a big fire, and everyone starts dancing around and uh, going around the fire, running or dancing or just doing anything, and we just keep moving around the fire, and it's like a machine almost. We just, the feeling, like craziness in my head, and the flames going up, and people were throwing things in the fire as sacrificing to the gods or whatever. So it has a good snow season this year, and it's pretty wild. And um, at this point, I had broken away. The fire's still going. Broken away with a few of my friends, and we go into the grass to smoke, and it's tall grass, and for some reason, sitting in it, the grass is whispering. It kept all of the little pieces, especially if I touched it, it would whisper to me. It was the strangest sensation, really. And um, after smoking, especially, it kind of weirded me out. I couldn't started. It was hard to comprehend my thoughts. My thoughts were going through my mind so fast, and like, just conversating with people, it would be like I would be, I wouldn't know what to say. Like it would, and my perception of time was completely off. And then I realized, oh wait, the fire's still going, and it seemed like I had been away from the fire for an hour or two. And so we continued to jump around the fire, and the whole from the very beginning, everyone goes camping at the somewhere pretty much every year. And this year, they had picked out to go to Obi Joyful, which is a little valley, and at the bottom of Obi Joyful stream. And I made the mistake of not getting directions to get to there before I left, and I didn't know how. I don't know what my thought process was whenever I thought that I would be able to figure out how to get there after I'd taken 5 hits of acid, but I didn't know how to get there. And I mean, as people are clearing out and starting to go down there, I start leaving to go to my car, but at this point I had completely forgotten what road I was on or what part of town I was in. Like it was dark and you couldn't really see the mountains around it, so there wasn't any kind of uh, point of reference to figure out where north or south was. And I couldn't remember where I parked. And luckily, a car with a bunch of my friends pulls up, and they they stop me, and they're like, are you okay? Where are you going?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to find my car." And they're like, "Oh, okay, here, hop in, we'll figure it out." And I guess I was walking the opposite way. And so I get to my car and I started driving back. I think I started driving north, but at that point I realized that I couldn't even figure out how to get back to my car. How am I gonna figure out where Obey Joyful is? So before I get myself lost, maybe I should just start heading home. So I start heading back, and it's it's I mean, maybe not the greatest idea, but um, it was a beautiful trip home. Like just that feeling, it feels like you're not even. It doesn't even feel like you're driving. It feels like you're flying through, just flying and through fractals and sparkles and pixie dust and this had kind of uh, like took over my thoughts. And as I'm driving home, I stop and I realize, like, where am I? Where, like, what is it? I couldn't see the mountains on either side of the road, so I was kind of thinking, like, I'm looking around, I see some trees, I see fields down at the valley floor, and I'm thinking, all right, well, it kind of looks like Pennsylvania. Maybe I think I'm in Pennsylvania, and so I keep driving. I'm thinking, like, where? Gosh, why can't I think of where I am? And then I said, then so I keep going, and I forget at what point that I really remembered where I was, but all of a sudden it was just like when it popped back in my head. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I'm in Colorado. I mean, that's quite a long ways away. So, but yeah, and then I ended up getting home, and prior to this, my roommate had asked for me to get a ride back, but I was planning on staying at Obi Joyful, and so instead of giving him a ride back, he said he had to hitch a ride, and he was trying to, because the bus didn't come or something like that. And he had to call his cousin, and his cousin had to come up and pick him up. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, and he starts blaming me and starts flipping out on me. But at this point, we had a really bad relationship to begin with. He was kind of a prick. I guess a lot of a prick. But yeah. And then roommates were all being like, "Oh, come on, don't yell at him. Don't get all pissed at him. You're gonna set him off, make him set off his brain into the like a bad trip." And so I ended up leaving, and tried to write down the thoughts that were flipping all over throughout my brain, and then went to bed and called it a night. But the next day, just kind of figuring out where they had actually gone. I guess it was a pretty good time, but well, the grump was burned, and hopefully it was gonna be a good snow year. So yeah, it was quite the adventure.